Rock on. We are live and having a great time. If you have any questions, what I'd like you to do, you can, when I'm done a few minutes in, I will open it up for questions. Raise your digital hand. You do that by using your participant screen, and then there's a blue raise hand button. I want to introduce you to a very close friend of mine, Dr. Sarver. He's on, you'll see him if you're watching instead of listening. He is driving down the road. He's kind of, he hasn't heard this term from me yet, but behind his back, I say things about him. And what I say about him is he's kind of like a healthcare missionary. And the reason I say that is because he practices in Grand Rapids, he practices in Flat Rock, and we're really happy to announce that he practices in Ann Arbor now as well, which is super cool. He's officially on our team as well. We've always been on the same team, but he's like officially seeing patients in Ann Arbor, which is fantastic. And we're so excited about that. And he offers our nutrition response testing. We've had 3 doctors over the years offer nutrition response testing. And the type that he does is the type that Dr. Porter did, who used to work out here, and we sent tons of patients out for Dr. Porter. And then Dr. Porter unfortunately passed away, and Dr. Sarver took over and is doing a phenomenal job. My family and I have been under his care for a while. Can't say enough great things. I know you've heard about him, but we are thrilled that he's also offering his care in Ann Arbor, which is so great. So we're going to do another call about that. That's actually not what today's call is about, but wanted to just announce that. Now, he has a lot of experience with the topic that I'm talking about, and I thought, what a great way to introduce what's going on here, and I'm pulling this up on my screen, is to have him talk about, his work with this. So we know, how many of you, raise your physical hand if you are familiar with anything, any terms like frequencies or energy medicine or functional medicine? Do you have any experience? Have you heard of it? Okay, so a little bit, that sort of thing. Now, if we're coming from, I can tell you this, if we're coming from a faith perspective, anytime I'll say to Christians things like energy, they're kind of like, sometimes they'll be like, oh, whoa, that sounds new agey. I don't mean anything new agey. I mean that the body has an electrical field that runs through it. That's science. And there's a way to tap into that. Now, your chiropractic care you're getting is about helping the nervous system talk to every cell properly. The Beamer device that you're using for better circulation is helping the blood carry oxygen and nutrients to each cell, which improves cellular repair, and it gets carbon dioxide and waste material out of the cell, which reduces inflammation. The high intensity laser that we use here is literally about stimulating the mitochondria of the cells to produce more ATP, so you're having better cellular repair on a cellular level. So if we want you as healthy as possible, we want the building blocks, which are your cells, to be functioning as well as possible, and then the rest takes care of itself. The foundational piece for that is nervous system. You can do everything else I'm mentioning and you will still get results, but if your nervous system isn't working well, you can forget it. It's not going to work how it's needed because your body's not regulating. Assuming that's the case, and anybody that's, in our practice, that is the case, then we've got to make sure we've got proper blood flow. That's where the Beamer comes in. We've got to make sure that we've got proper cellular repair. That's where the laser comes in for injuries and things like that. We have to make sure that the cells are getting proper nutrition. That's where Dr. Sarver comes in. He handles the nutrition side to make sure that you don't have any toxicities or deficiencies. You can have too much of bad stuff or not enough of good stuff. And if any of that happens, then your body's not going to work properly. And I apologize, Dr. Sarver, that's my oversimplification because I don't have the training you have for that. But the results are outstanding for your body to regulate. Well, there's another step. So if the body works with frequencies, you can hear me right now because the sound waves that are coming through your computer to your ears are causing a vibration, a frequency in decibels, in that case, that's your brain is then interpreting. Now, when you're a baby, you still hear those frequencies, those wavelengths of sound are causing movement in the little hairs in your ears, and it's formulating patterns. When you're a baby, you don't know what those mean. You're still getting the sound, but you don't know what those mean. And as you learn language and you learn context, you eventually, your brain will start to put that together. Well, that's kind of a simple example of how frequencies work. So we know a couple of things, for example, that if we use a 40 hertz frequency and we put it into your body, that 40 hertz frequency will reduce inflammation in your body. We know that. We know that if we use 13 hertz and send that frequency into your body, that will dissolve scar tissue. So people that have scar tissue that's flipping or blocking their autonomic nervous system, 13 hertz can dissolve that scar tissue. We know that 81 hertz increases secretion. So if we have people who are toxic and need to detox things and get stuff out of their body with increased secretions, we know that we can do that with an 81 hertz frequency. So none of this is new information, but what it's been is you've had to go places that have these German $40, $50, $60,000 German devices, and you've got to pay $500, $600, $700 per session, and you've got to do 10 sessions in order for them to accept you for care. And you might have to fly to Southern California, or you might have to go to Sweden, or you might, right? So this is the access. I mean, the care isn't this frequency work to reset your body's frequency is not a new concept, but the access for you to have it in an inexpensive way, that is what's new, and that's what we're excited about. Dr. Sarver, I'm going to unmute you if you don't mind there. Drive safely, of course. We want you safe and that. But what I'd like you to do for a couple minutes is I'd like you to let our group here know what the deal is with frequencies, and then I'm going to announce the device and tell my experience about it in a minute. But I'd like for you to share about your knowledge of frequencies and what you've noticed with patients, maybe with yourself, so that they can hear from it. They're sick of hearing from me, so they got to hear from somebody else.
Thank you for the kind introduction, Dr. Lazar. One of the best ways for me to think of frequencies is FM radio. So FM means frequency modulation. So when you want to change the channel or change what you're hearing through your radio, we just switch the dial. So we're changing the frequency. And our bodies are doing that all the time. Each of our organs have a specific frequency at which they function to their highest potential. So what the device that Dr. Lazar is talking about does is it sees the frequencies that are happening at the cellular level and at the glandular and organic, or the organ level. And it sends specific frequencies that the body needs to improve the function or the frequency at each of those sites. So if we're doing a program, say for the liver, it knows what the optimum frequency of a healthy liver should be. And it sends the frequency through the program, and it senses what your body's doing. So it doesn't just blast what the optimum frequency would be at that second. It modulates up and down, and it works through the barriers and interferences. It is just mind-blowing. The programming that is in this device has over 144,000 frequencies. So it is really the work of a couple of decades of engineering science into quantum physics and frequency studies that Germany and the healthcare professionals there have come up with, and they've seen such effectiveness and such mind-blowing results that's what got me interested in it. I was just interested in simple things like sleep and maybe improving energy. But when I heard of all the healthcare benefits that it had, I thought, wow, this is something I want to use with my patients so they can have optimum care even after they leave my office. And that's really in the patient's best interest, something that they can tap into on a daily level to give themselves the best energy, the best sleep, the best potential to function and to offset degenerative disease. One of the big things in my practice I see is a lot of patients coming in with mind degeneration, brain degeneration, and of course I want to preserve mind. So I've seen already improved alertness, improved cognitive function, and ability to get words out with some folks has been an issue. So all of these things I'm seeing improvements with myself, my family, my patients. I can't say enough, and I can sense Dr. Lazar's excitement, and it's something that I'm hearing back from my patients, which is really, really cool, because you think, well, I'm gonna do this, and my family's gonna do it, but when I hear back from the patients, that really, really, really is encouraging to me.
That's great. Well, this is my personal device here. Um, the cost on this is 2,400 or so. We've got it discounted right now for kind of early adopters at 2,357 plus tax. And I used it. So I'm going to show you a picture on the screen so that you can see, because everybody wants to know, hey, what does this look like, right? So this is what it looks like. So this is the device itself. It's about this big, and it reminds me of an old beeper, you know, an old pager or something. And what you have cables that you plug in, and you put little pads on your wrists or wherever the frequency needs to go, and it will tell you. And it sticks on kind of like a like an EKG you might have or something. They're sticky pads. And then there's an app on your phone, which is really cool, that goes with it. And what you do is you tell your phone, it just syncs over Bluetooth, and it talks, and you tell your phone what program you need. Now, the first program that I used personally was while my dad was having a heart catheterization, and it was a 45-minute restful, kind of just calming program. And I wasn't sure whether that was going to whether it was going to work or not. I didn't really know what to expect, but Dr. Sarver speaks highly of it. Dr. DiGregorio, a friend of mine in Charleston, South Carolina, speaks highly of it. And so I trust these guys. They've been doing this for over 3 decades. And so if they find a device that they like, I certainly want to try it. So what I did was I put the pads on, I had it running off my phone, and I don't feel anything. Well, I'm sitting in the waiting room while my dad is having a heart catheterization, which is an invasive procedure. It's a heart surgery. And I am so hyper that I make caffeine nervous. So I don't sit and sleep. If I'm not in a bed, I don't sleep. I've flown to the Philippines before, which is a 21-hour flight, never slept for 1 minute on that flight. I've flown overnight to Scotland, 9 hours overnight from New York to Scotland, left at 11 p.m. from New York, flew all night to Scotland, didn't sleep for 1 minute. I don't sleep. There's too much going on if I'm not in a bed. Well, I'm in a hospital. My mom passed away in January. My best friend, Dr. Porter, passed away same day in January. There's been all this COVID stuff going on. Now my dad's having heart surgery. So I am quite worked up, and I'm in the hospital, and I put this calming program on to change the frequencies there. And I don't remember this happening, but the only thing I remember next is there was a nurse kind of shaking me, and I startle like this. And she said, "Boy, you were out." And I said, "What do you mean I was out?" And she said, "Honey, you were sound asleep." And I immediately was like, okay, this is giving my body what it needed. It needed some rest in that moment. It needed to calm down. And the frequency was exactly what I needed. Then after that, we did a program on my wife. She was having really debilitating shoulder trouble. And chiropractors' wives should not be having this much trouble. So I was getting frustrated. And so I had Dr. Sarver test her for what program she needed, because with his testing methodology, he can actually zero in on exactly what program, exactly what intensity, what percentage intensity your body needs of those frequencies. And so he did that, which was a program I would never have picked, but that is the beauty of having him test for it. And she ran that program. It was about, I want to say, a 40 to 45-minute program for her. She did it at bedtime, and it fired her shoulder up so badly she couldn't sleep. So you might hear that and say, well, that sounds terrible. Here's what's amazing about it. It caused a change in her shoulder. Chiropractic is about DC. We always joke kind of and say that's doctor of cause. We want to find what's causing the problem. Our goal is not to cover up your symptoms. It never has been, and it never will be. Our goal is to find the underlying cause and address that. And if it causes Mount Vesuvius to erupt, we love that, because that means your body is changing, it's responding, it's not stuck. You might not love that, but we know that that means it's making a change. So the next day, she said, I don't know what I should do. I said, nope, we're going to retest you. This is exactly what needs to happen. We retest her, and she slept through the night, no issues. So that first session really hit the frequency that her shoulder needed. And it was really, really powerful. So I can't say enough good things about it. Admittedly, I've only been using it for a couple months, so I don't want to, make this big proclamation, but I have seen incredible results, and we're starting to get patients to use these. Mostly the ones we're starting with are the ones that feel kind of stuck. There's a group of people who we're seeing objective changes, but they're not really feeling as many changes as they used to. And there's another group of early adopters who say things like, hey, if you ever are onto something and you like it, I want to be kind of in your beta group, and I want to test it and see if I like it. Now, we would never do that with something that's unsafe. We wouldn't even be talking about something that's not safe. And so that's what we have. What I want to do is, because you're on this call, now if you're on the call, not streaming live on our Facebook or YouTube or any of those pages, but if you are an existing practice member at the office and you are on this call with us live, we want to incentivize you with this and offer you an additional 10% discount off the price of that until the end of September. So no rush, no pressure, no urgency. We don't hard sell anything here, but I've got a list of the names of the people that are on here, and if it's something you're interested in doing, we will we'll be offering you a 10% discount on that if it's something you would like within the next before the end of the month. All right. So what I'd like to do, Dr. Sarver, anything else you would like to add, please do so now, and then we're going to open up the floor for any questions that our rock star practice members have. And I'm going to be writing because I'm writing names down here.
Okay. Yeah, the biggest skeptic is always myself, because I've seen so many things come through my door over the years, and I just am so impressed with what this has done for overall physiology, function of my body, my family's body, my patients' bodies, and there's so many more potentials with this device, that frequencies for learning disabilities, for chronic disease processes, that I'm seeing practitioners who've been using this for 10, 15 years talk about diseases and things which I had no idea that a device like this was out there that could help. And it's exciting beyond belief to see what we can do to help our body heal from the inside out with this device. So, Dr. Lazar, thanks for endorsing this product. It's truly amazing.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for your expertise with that. Why would you, let me ask you this. Both of us, we talk about this a lot, we chuckle. If people use Beamer right, and have better blood flow and reduce inflammation, they need less of my care. And the only thing I get paid for is providing care to people, right? Like I don't have any, well, I do speaking engagements, but not for people that come in, right? So um, if people do laser, uh, they need fewer adjustments because cellular repair is faster. If people have good nutrition and because the three things that cause nerve interference are thoughts, traumas, toxins. So if I'm addressing the trauma, but they've got toxins and you address those, then they have less nerve interference. If we give people these frequencies and help them think differently and their body work differently, they're going to need less chiropractic care and they're going to need less nutrition response testing. So literally us talking about this is is meaning that people will need less and less of our care, and that's the only thing that we make money on. So either we're lunatics for talking about this, or there's some other reason we're telling people to go spend money somewhere else. It's not even with us. It's not even with us. Like we are not selling it to you. Uh, it's go spend your money somewhere else, but we found this thing that can help you. So either we're crazy or there's some other reason that we're telling people about this. What do you say to that before I open this up for questions?
Uh, yeah,
Why
one of
would
the
it
truly
be so nuts
amazing,
to tell people this?
yeah, one of the truly amazing things is that it will, for instance, a remedy that I would recommend that a patient take. So it would take that remedy and take the energy from that actual herbal substance, et cetera, and take that down to a very, very micro cellular amplification. So your body recognizes that and opens up the gateways or the pathways to utilize the energy from that nutritional supplementation. So that in turn requires you to have less of that supplement. So, it's like I am talking myself almost out of business in a way because my patients will require less supplements. But that's
Right.
not my true goal, my passion. My passion is what can they do to maintain health beyond supplementation? And it's not about how much we can put into our bodies, but how efficient our bodies will be and how strong they will be at the deepest cellular level of embracing that nutrition, embracing the food that we eat. And we can even take some of those things and see 5 times the power put out of what we bring in. So ATP production, which is the core of our energy production, and cellular metabolism, all of this is really amplified. And it's going back to when, we were at our best, at our prime, at our 16, 18, 20-year-old youthful prime. And it's getting back to those specific energies that God created our cells and our bodies to utilize and to function at their optimum. So that's what really gets me jazzed and excited. In fact, I'm talking with goosebumps right now as I'm driving, sharing this with you all.
So our entire purpose as an organization is to help people realize and express their full God-given potential. And so that's how this fits. What I love about it is it's a one-time purchase. It's, full fee without our discount to you is going to be about $2,400. But if you think about that, that's it. Now, Dr. Sarver, do you have each person in a family have a device like this, or do families share a device like this? What's your best recommendation for that?
I like potentially to have more than one in a family. What
Okay.
I'm finding is that families are usually hesitant. They want to try it, and then they're disappointed they didn't buy more than one because everybody in the family wants to use it at once, or there's not enough time almost in the day to use it because most of us work during the day and we have limited time morning and evening.
Okay.
So optimally, if you can get more than one device, that's best. But I find most patients are really wanting to share it with more than just not their families, but their relatives even, and loan it out to other folks so that they can see what it's doing as well.
That's cool. Well, so we're discounting it 10% till the end of the month. So we're not going to limit how many of those. So if you do end up, you can, if you're interested in it, you can start with one and see how it goes. And then in the future, if you want more, that's great. If not, if you want to do more, more than one, is whatever. We don't care. We just want to have it as an offer for you. So we've got a minute left or so. Any questions that we can answer? If you have a question, raise your digital hand or your physical hand. I'm looking at those, and we can unlock. We're coming right up on 1:30 here, so I'll officially end at 1:30, but I'll stick around and make sure questions get answered. All right. Okay, Miss Judy, go ahead. You'll have to unmute yourself first.
Okay. There goes.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you for having this.
Of course.
Yeah, you said, I had two things. You said it helps with scars. You said that on the little video this morning.
Right.
Yeah, and does it make them go away, or does it just help them? And the other thing is, does it help keep cancer from coming back?
The C word. So out of respect for Dr. Sarver, I'm going to take this question because he's a guest. Okay, so this device is not intended, and this is not legalese. I'm just telling you the truth. This device is not intended for you to treat anything. So even if we were to say, take this device and treat your scars with it, that would be a little bit misleading. What I would say is, we know what frequencies will dissolve scar tissue. So if you are putting those frequencies into the body, that will eventually dissolve scar tissue, right? So it's not one or two times, it's something that would need to continue happening. As far as cancer is concerned, we know this. We know that cancer is a very, very, very low frequency. We know that cells are responding with a very low frequency. What I can't say to you, because there's not anything in the United States that would support what I'm telling you. Now, there are things outside of the United States, but I'm in the United States and my license comes from a state within the United States, is that I can't say that this device that puts frequencies into your body will help you prevent or treat cancer. I can't say that. What I can say is, what I would do is ask you a question. If cancer emits a very low frequency on a cellular level, and we are giving your cells frequencies that they need, okay, do you think that would help your body or hurt your body if it's dealing with cancer, or if cancer is trying to form? What would you say?
I would say it's helping.
I would say the same thing. Absolutely. Now, I can't say that as any form of a treatment. That would be misleading on my part. Just like I can't say chiropractic or nutrition or Beamer. I can't say any of those. That would be very irresponsible of me to say that. But what I can tell you, I'm a cancer survivor, as you know, if you've heard my story. And what I could tell you is, if I were to deal with cancer again, would I want a strong or a weak nervous system? Of course, I want a strong one. If I were dealing with cancer again, would I want good rest? Yes, I would. If I were dealing with cancer again, would I want proper blood flow? Yes, I would. That's why I Beamer twice a day. If I was dealing with cancer again, would I want proper nutrition on a cellular level? You bet I would. That's why my family and I see Dr. Sarver minimum once a month and take all the supplements on the schedule that he tests us and doses us for, because we believe in that. If I were dealing with cancer again, would I want proper frequencies going into the cells of my body? Yes, I would. So I don't play defense on sickness. I play offense on my health, and I encourage people to do that. So yes, in my world, I will only talk about things that help. And if you're ever in doubt if it'll help, ask and I'll tell you. So yes, there's no way I would go through life without getting adjusted, without beamering, without proper nutrition, without prayer, without reading my Bible, without living in community, and without using the Healy. Like I personally am telling you what's in my portfolio. What is in my health portfolio is exactly what I share with you. That's why we've earned the trust of our community over the last 12 years and why so many people do the things that we do. Because here's the thing. The whole idea is you can't beat a man or a woman at their own game. So hire people that know what needs to happen. I don't manage my own money. We have a CFO, we have 2 accountants, and we have a controller because I am not good at managing money. So I can either fail at that or I can hire around it. I don't do nutrition response testing. That's why Dr. Sarver's here. I don't analyze exams like Dr. Wireman does. That's why Dr. Wireman's here. So the idea is I know what I'm good at and what I'm not. And if we can't offer best in world, we don't offer it, or I find somebody who can. So sorry, I got preachy there, but yes, it will help.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm going to pass the offering plate. Come on, I'm preaching. All right, Miss Gay, go right ahead. You can unmute yourself. Uh-oh. There you go. You got it.
Okay, all right, had to do it twice. I am thinking about a couple of other people that I know, not necessarily relatives, who have a problem with seizures.
Okay.
And I wonder if this might be a helpful thing there.
So, Dr. Sarver, do you have any experience, or have you, I know that our upper cervical care helps people with epilepsy a ton. Clinically speaking, I have an opinion, but I don't have experience using the device with anybody with epilepsy. Dr. Sarver, do you have any experience with that, or have you read anything about that?
I have.
One other thing. One of them is a 10-year-old, and the other one is an overweight middle-aged person.
Okay.
I really want to do a full workup to see what's going on with them before I jumped in and said what can help what. But as Dr. Lazar said, we can't really claim that we're treating specific diseases or seizure or whatever, epileptic seizures, etc., because of our licensure restrictions. But I do know that it helps the body's nervous system to calm down and helps balance the nervous system. So I would say I would be very optimistic about those cases. But as far as saying emphatically that yes, it would cure them or do X, Y, or Z, I wouldn't be truthful in saying that. But I do believe that if it were my son or my daughter, I would be jumping all over it and see what we could do to improve with that. I would have a pretty high expectation that it would.
And the other thing too is I don't have any intention of people just coming to us and asking for a referral so they can buy this. My intention is that this is for people that are under our care, because there can be things going on. Like nothing is just one facet. Like almost every process that I see is multifactorial. And just like I wouldn't recommend you ever going anywhere and trying a supplement or a medication or a surgery or a procedure to see if it will work, I'm really not a big fan of that. I prefer, just like our assessment, that we test and we come up with answers and we know. I don't mind guessing like in games, but I don't like to guess with people's health, and I don't like to make recommendations unless we know what's going on. So my best recommendation, if somebody is suffering with something, is to have us do our assessment. And now with Dr. Sarver on the team, that assessment involves lab work, that involves reflex testing, in addition to our neurological scans that we're doing. I mean, we are talking game-changing full picture stuff here. And if we can do that, and then you're a candidate for it, and you have something at home that you're using, and you're not having to go out all the time and have all these appointments and schedule anything, we really We really love that idea. So we're out of time. I really appreciate, we're over time, but hey, it's great spending extra time with you guys. Any questions, just email the office and let us know. What I'm going to do is send everybody a voucher so that we know like that you attended this live. We're going to send you a voucher. And if you're interested in using that through the end of September, by all means, you know, you'll save 10% on that. Miss Gay, did you have something else?
Quickie, I missed the beginning. Is it going to be repeated?
It's recorded, and so what we can do, I can make a note to send you a link to the recording.
Thank you. I
You're
appreciate
so
that.
welcome. You guys have a wonderful day. Yes, Miss Judy? You'll have to unmute yourself first.
I thought that you had these on your website, these recorded sessions on your website for people to watch later.
Yeah, we do put these on the Facebook page. We put them on YouTube. We put them, yeah, they're everywhere so that people can watch them later. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay, great.
Okay.
And thanks,
Hey,
Gabe.
Dr.
I had
Sarver.
a seizure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
What's
welcome.
that?
Thank you, Dr. Sarver.
You're welcome.
Absolutely.
My pleasure.
Dr. Sarver, thanks so much, and hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for joining.